Hi, this is Lesson 8, and today what we're going to look at is the histogram and the box plot and the relation between the two. So, I've taken the liberty to sketch the histogram beforehand, and I put in these little dotted lines here so that we can, not that you have to have them if you have graph paper, but so that you can see where the bars line up on the frequency axis. Now, here's how we do this. Let's take a look at one of our classes, and it doesn't matter which. Now, remember that when we have class boundaries are the half unit of the data. Half units of the data. So, well, what does that tell us? If they're half units of the data, for example, let's take the class that has from 1.5 to actually, let's just start at the very beginning of class, the leftmost class, and that is from negative 0.5 to 1.5. So since in this case the data is in half units, then the actual data must be whole units. So actual data must be whole units. And in this case, what is the only whole number? Oh, you know what? My graph is slightly off. Let me fix that. My graph should have been, negative 0.5 to 0.5, 0.5 to 1.5, 2.5, 3.5, 4.5, and 5.5. There we go. Now, so if we're looking, and I need to correct that right there as well. So if we're looking at data between whole numbers between negative a half and positive a half, those numbers have to be, in this case, the only whole number in there is 0. So all of the data in this first class is zeros. And not only that, but notice that I have 7 zeros. So in the first class, I have 7 zeros. All right, let's take a look at the second class. So the second class is from 0.5 through 1.5. Well, the only whole number in between that is 1. And according to the frequency, there's 5. So in this case, the 1 is repeated 5 times. Or you could say that there's 5 ones. Okay, and then if we keep repeating this, in the next bin we'll go a little faster, from 1.5 to 2.5, well, it has a frequency of 3, and the only number between 1.5 and 2.5, the only whole number, is 2. So this one has to have 3 2's. And then the next class, from 2.5 to 3.5, well, that has just 1, and it has 1, in this case, 1, 3. This one has 1, let's see, we'll write it this way, has 1, 3. And then in the next case, from 3.5 to 4.5, the only whole number in there is 4, and so we can say the next data has 2 4's. And finally, our rightmost class, our last class, is 4.5 to 5.5. Well, that has 1. The only whole number between 4.5 and 5.5, well, that's 5. So it has 1, 5. Now, there's a few different ways that you can approach this, and we're going to go through all of those. One thing one way we could do this is just simply write out the data set. We actually know it now. Here's what it would look like, and I'm going to put it in order. So it has 7 zeros. So I'd go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 zeros. And then the ones are repeated 5 times. So I'd have 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. And then the next one is 3s, and I have 3 as are 2s, and I have 3 of those. So I'd have 2, 2, 2. The next bin, so our next bin is one. Where are we at? 1, 2, 3. We're at the fourth bin right here. So it has ones, and it looks like it has 1, 3 in it. So in this one, we just have 1, 3. The next bin has 4s and has 2 of them. So let's put 2 4s. And the last bin has 1, 5. Now let's find the 5-number summary from that. And so let's repeat, we'll go through this process the same way we've done before. And remember that what we said you could just start at the ends and start going in. So start at the top and come down 1, start at the bottom and go up 1. And then we just continue this process until our arrows meet. And so let's just do this. 1, 2, over here is our third one. Fourth one. Here's our fifth one, 6, 7, 8, and it looks like this one right there, that has to be our median. So now look at what we found. We've already just found part of our 5-number summary. And not only that, we know the minimum. Well, that's right there. There's another piece of our 5-number summary. Oh, and look, there's the maximum on the other end of the data. Wow, this is coming together nicely. So I only need 2 more pieces. I need Q1, the first quartile, and Q3, the second quartile. Now remember, the median divides the data into 2 groups. And we don't include this median in either half. So now let's take another color. How about we'll try the light blue, and let's see if we can find the median of the lower half. So if I start at the bottom, I go in 1. If I start at the top, I go down 1. I come up 1, and then I go down 1, and I go up 1, and I go down 1, and look at that. There it is. It's right there. That 0 represents, oops, let me undo that. That 0 there represents, that's Q1. This one is Q2. And if we repeat the process, now another thing we can do is just look. Instead of using arrows this time, let's try something a bit different. Notice that this Q1, if I started from the left, I had to move 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 units from the left. If I go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 units from the right, I land at the median either way. Let's apply that to the upper half of our data. So if I go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I should land here on this 2 if I come down the other direction. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and sure enough I did. So that 2 there represents Q3. And now we have our 5-number summary. We have our minimum, we have our maximum, and we have our quartiles. So now we can construct our box plot. So let's do that. Let's take a minute. We have numbers that go from 0 to 5. So we'll go 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then if you recall, what we did is we put a little vertical line above each piece of the 5-number summary. So I have a vertical line at the 0. My Q1, oh, that's another vertical line on the 0. It just stays one on top of the other. That's okay. Then I have a Q2, is it 1? Oh, and I should label my number line. My number line is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. And then let's continue. See, Q2, we have Q2. Q3 is at the 2. And it looks like the maximum is all the way out at 5. And so in this case, our box is actually just this far left. And the Q1 and the minimum are actually the same. And then we have this long whisker off to the right. And that is how we can make a box plot from a histogram. We're going to do it one more way in this next video, but at least now we know that we can make the data set or an approximation of the data set, and we can just work through it as we've done before. So in the next video, we're going to take one more approach that works maybe a little bit more faster and has a bit greater understanding to it. So, see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.